York City, which means that as a child, I wasn't afraid of loud noises, but I had a very real fear of falling off of the subway platform and getting electrocuted by the third rail. I feel like in the suburbs, getting your first car is an important rite of passage, but in New York City, it's when you get your first therapist. Yeah, I do feel like there's a lot of debate about what makes someone a true New Yorker. You know, is it when you stop using north and south to describe directions and only use uptown and downtown? Is it the first time you push a little old lady out of the way in a car? But see, I think what makes someone a true New Yorker is when you begin your sentences like a true New Yorker with the words, "My therapist says." My therapist says that I'm a highly functioning people pleaser. She says other things too, but sometimes I'm so busy trying to get her to like me that I'm not paying attention. And I'm so good at pretending to pay attention that she doesn't even notice. So my parents are both second-generation immigrants. So even though I grew up in New York City, the Gossip Girl character that I most clearly relate to is Dorota. I grew up in a rent-stabilized apartment downtown, and every weekend my family would make pilgrimages to the Pathmark in Chinatown because they had the lowest grocery prices. And my mom thought, that's for laughing. My mom thought expensive groceries were like personally offensive. She thought that the fancy supermarket in our neighborhood was on a perpetual mission to bamboozle her out of like $3 to $5, and she was not having that. So I feel like for a lot of my life, I was trying to like present as Cinderella, even though like deep down I knew I was Pathmark. And this manifested itself most notably in my dating life, where I was always trying to date up. My ex-boyfriend was a 6'2", gainfully employed British man. When we broke up, I was devastated. But I realized the other day that the biggest thing I lost in the breakup wasn't a true love and consummate life partner. The biggest thing I lost was my last chance to be British by association. That's right, I lost my status symbol. Never again would I be able to, casually mention his existence in every conversation in a way that was no doubt subtle, but completely warranted. Never again would I hear my coworkers ask if I can make the marketing conference next week and reply, "Let me check my schedule, I mean schedule." My boyfriend's incredibly sexy accent must have rubbed off on me. I'm so sorry. But now that I think about it, I think I always knew that my ex was a bit too cultured for me. We used to spend these very elaborate Christmases at his family's cottage in the English countryside, where his mom would make beef Wellington and we'd drink slow gin and port. I come from working class Sicilian stock. My grandma's cocktail of choice was house red wine mixed with orange juice and club soda. Every Christmas, my mom puts out the same 3 boxes of Cars Table Water Crackers that she bought in 1989. And not only has she put out the same 3 boxes of crackers for the last 3 decades, but after appetizer time is over, we take the uneaten crackers and wrap them up and put them back in the box so that we can use them again next year because, taste not, want not, And the other day I was in my mom's, I visited my mom and I was looking in her pantry for a snack, and I realized there was not a single snack item that had an expiration date that was in the future. So I feel like, my mom is a fully functional college-educated woman with sound political views, but talking to her about the concept of expiration dates is like talking to a QAnon supporter about Biden's presidency. You know it's real, but you will never convince her that it's not a conspiracy by the 1% to keep the common man down. So when my ex and I broke up, that thrust me back into the dating world, which made my mom very nervous because every date is another chance for me to get murdered by a random stranger. My mom keeps a mental roster of all women who have been abducted, and she likes to try to help me from making common victim mistakes with thinly veiled dating advice. So when my mom says something like, keep the conversation light and breezy. It's not her way of saying, don't tell him how much you like him too fast. No, it's her way of saying, do not disclose any personally identifiable information. Some moms might say, no, don't move too fast. My mom says, don't tell him your last name, ever, even when you're married. My mom also takes solace in knowing where these dates will be taking place, because the manhunt can begin that much sooner when she can give the search and rescue team the exact coordinates of my last known whereabouts. So when my mom says, what restaurant are you going to? It's not because she cares whether we're having Italian or Thai. She's literally at home, chain-smoking cigarettes and drinking full coffee with a giant map meaning a pin the exact latitude and longitude lines of my last stated location. And she also asked me to text her when I get home from the date, which is not because she wants to have a little gossip or talk about whether I thought he was cute or not. She's literally just looking for proof of life. She would be perfectly content if I texted her a picture of myself holding the day's newspaper and some way to validate the timestamp. And mind you, this is a woman who doesn't know how to get on the internet without AOL, but she somehow becomes a mix of like Mark Zuckerberg meets Magnum PI when it comes to like anyone I'm dating. Like she will find like the college degree, social security number, and last tax return of the person I'm with before I even know if I want to go on a second date with them. So it got to the point where I wouldn't even tell my mom if I was going on a date, but her paranoia had somehow incepted itself into my brain because I would find myself texting my best friend, meeting Robert, don't know his last name, he's a corporate finance attorney, going to a coffee shop, 375 Barrow Street. If you don't hear from me by 8 p.m., please call the police. And the sad thing was, I knew if I didn't show up, my friend would call the police and report this to the authorities. But I knew my mom would have also found Robert's last name and other assorted PII, so I was actually just cheating myself at the most comprehensive recovery mission. Yeah. After telling you that story, I don't think it will be surprising to know that I have diagnosed anxiety and OCD. My therapist says that I need to learn that it's okay not to have total control over everything. But my mom says that my therapist sounds like she's someone who pays too much for groceries, and that's probably true because her office is on the Upper East Side. But yes, my OCD and anxiety did wreak havoc on my last relationship. So one of my compulsions is that I hate losing things, and you might be saying, yeah, I also hate losing things. But I ask you, do you keep all of the plastic bags that your takeaway food gets delivered in and use those bags to transport other items at various times and know exactly which bags can be used for which items? For example, my umbrella can go in my Tizen bag, but my gym clothes can only ever go in Larry's lobster rolls. And I see some of you are lost, and that's fine. If you don't know the logic, you're just not on my level, and that's okay. Because the real problem comes when one of those bags goes missing. And when this happened, I asked my boyfriend at the time, who I'm not sure if I mentioned, but he was British. I asked him if he knew where the bag was, and he said no. And so I casually said, he probably didn't even realize he misplaced it somewhere, but he still denied it. So I asked him to think about it a little harder, and he still denied it. And so I said, you threw it away, didn't you? Didn't you? Just tell me where it is. I just need to know. I won't be mad. I just need to know where it is. And in this moment, my boyfriend picked me up off of the floor, looked me straight in the eye, and said, come on, Ariana, you know I know we don't throw away plastic bags in this house. We were so in sync, I can't believe you broke up with me.